Have you ever dealt with selfish people before?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Extremely selfish.
Extremely selfish.
Extremely.
Like how was they like how? What made them basically extremely selfish from your point of view?
You give them what they want, whatever it may be, time, energy, sex, money, doesn't matter.
Right.
And when you set boundaries for yourself, they'll turn on, they'll play the victim or, what have you. But most of the time, them being selfish is them only thinking about what they need and what they want.
Right.
You don't exist at all. So that's my personal experience.
Right.
That I don't exist at all. It's everything about them.
It's all about them. Like the world revolves around them.
Exactly. And that's like definitively in the dictionary what it says. Selfish people are like. But at the same time, due to personal experience, it relates to wasting my time.
Right. Okay.
Because I'm going to keep saying it. When you set boundaries for yourself, all of a sudden they play the victim.
Yeah.
So they'll look like the good guy while you set your boundaries, when you're really the good guy doing something for yourself.
Right.
And then they play like you're the one being selfish because you don't want to give of yourself. When I've given everything I can.
Right.
Why do you want more?
Right.
You're selfish.
Right.
And I'm a selfless person, and I feel like maybe it's on my forehead or maybe it's on other people's foreheads where they can see if you're a selfless person so that you'll do whatever they want. They'll manipulate you in any facet they can. That's selfish to me.
Right. And I understand completely. It's like they take your kindness for weakness, basically. Because if you're kind to people and you're a very giving person, you got some people, because not all people are like that, but you do got some people that take advantage of that.
And then on top of that, when you set your boundaries, they claim that you're being selfish.
Yeah.
Why am I being selfish for time I can't get back?
Right.
It's not even money I can't get back. It's not even sex. It's not even energy. If I give myself to you, that makes me selfless.
Right.
If you're not giving yourself to me, that makes you selfish.
Right.
We're not on the same page.
Right, exactly.
We're not.
Facts.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that answers
we're
my
not
question.
On the same page.
I have another question for you, and I'm pretty sure maybe you haven't heard about it, but I'll be surprised if you haven't. But what do you think as a woman? What do you think about a lot of these women? Not all of them, but what do you think about a lot of these women getting bills? What's your take on that? How do you actually feel about that? Do you think it's like, I'm going to make it a little easier for you. Do you think they get BBLs? What be the reason you think they get the BBLs? Me personally, I think it's like attention. That's the number one thing. They want to feel like they basically want to be accepted. I think also a lot of them get those because they trying to get their hustle on. It could be several different reasons. I don't know what your take is on it, but those are a few of the reasons that I think.
I got you. Over time, have sexualized certain parts of a woman. So at one point it was you got to be skinny. At one point it was you have to be thick. Now at this point you got to be fat. And if you're fat, you got to come with all the assets, right? So women that are small are now trying to become thick to fit in. So if you can't afford a boob job or don't want to go through it, you build up your ass. And they think, I can get a man this way. But it's all about self-respect. You just can't walk around with a BBL and be secure. Especially around men, like I said, that sexualize certain aspects of women. Because you remember at some point in time, it was guys were into boobs. And that was it. Now they're all into ass. And it's like, if you want a BBL, to each his own. It's coming out of your pocket. You have to go through the healing, which is no fun. But BBL, to each his own. Really to each his own. But it plays on insecurities. if that makes sense.
Yes.
It plays on insecurities.
Yes, it does make
because
sense.
those are a preference. However, going back, men sexualize certain aspects of women.
Mhm.
So it's like you're not even getting a BBL for yourself to build your self confidence,
Mm-hmm.
but you're getting a BBL for the attention.
Right.
You don't want that attention.
Right.
When women have assets, men don't know what to do with them.
Right.
They don't know what if she got a top shelf ass. They don't know what to do with them. And if they get a BBL, then they go, well, why'd they get a BBL? To impress you, there's too much conflict.
Right.
Too much conflict, but to each his own.
I understand completely. Always wondered this. I'm pretty sure you can help me out with this one. Why is it when things don't work out with a guy and a woman or whatever, and the guy just, so I guess the guy, maybe, let's just say the guy just basically, let's just say they go their separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
She don't know why. She don't know why they go their separate ways. I always wondered, why is it so important for women to have closure, is what I want to know.
It seals the deal.
Okay.
That's the short explanation. I'm going to emphasize, but closure brings about a definitive decision as to why it's not working,
Okay.
instead of just breaking up and nobody knowing why. For example, when I decided I was 19, I was going to go to college. I had a boyfriend at the time, and he broke up with me, but he gave me closure. He was very honest. He said, I'm going to cheat on you. Not because you're going to college, but because you're going so far away. I respected that. He was honest that we can continue some sort of friendship between the two of us that didn't have a hiatus point to it. We just disappeared. We continued with each other for 4 years. Mm-hmm. We weren't necessarily dating, but we still hitting it and quitting it. But he gave me closure, so I was open enough to give him that time.
Right.
If a woman doesn't get closure, it does damage.
Oh, really?
It does damage. And a matter of fact, I'm going to apply it to men and women. Some men may not know this. Maybe I'll educate them. But people, remember I mentioned, I said people stay together out of obligation?
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to get closure. Does that make sense?
Okay.
They stay with people because they don't know how to get closure. Example. I don't know about anywhere else, but in New York, you find a lot of people that are with other people because they feel stuck. So that's obligation. Oh, I gotta stay with her. The child is the obligation that keeps them together. And it's like, that shouldn't be the case because there's single parents all over the place. And I'm not saying you should be a single parent, because people are considering nowadays co-parenting. It's a good look, but not having closure can cause damage. Mm. It just, closure is a reason to why it's ending. So that in that closure, in that healing, you can grow. Without healing, you can't grow. Without understanding, you can't grow. So I say that to say, you're ever going to break up with anyone, or somebody going to break up with you, there needs to be a discussion as to why. Because it may not have gone wrong. Just may not have blown up in people's faces. It could be other reasons. And maybe in that closure, you'll find out you're flexible. So there's no need to break up. But then, for example, I've broken up with people, but I've never got closure to their end. I just knew it was over. That's all I knew. I was like, well, if it's over, I got to be the bad guy.
So you've broken up with people, or they broke up with you? I've
broken up with people because I've seen factors leading to why it's ending, and I've never gotten closure.
Okay. If two people are in a relationship, and it's in all relationships, you're going to have your ups and downs. I understand that you're going to argue about things, you're going to disagree about things. But say, like, for instance, you're in a relationship and y'all just arguing way too much. Just say it gets physical or whatever, but one of y'all is going to be like, okay, you know what? I'm tired of going through this. I'm going to leave. So whether it's the female or the male, whoever goes about their way first, let's just say the male, because I'm trying to figure out why women need closure. So if the male go about his way, I'd be trying to figure out, why does that woman need that closure you was going through? You had to put two and two together and be like, okay, he must been tired of this, because I'm tired of it too. But he was the first one to leave. I wonder it's because we always fighting and arguing. So for the females that like still wanting closure, I be thinking it's kind of obvious. Now I can see if everything look like it's all peaches and cream, and he just so happened to leave. Yeah, you don't want closure like going on. But if all this stuff was going on, this bickering back and forth for so long, fighting with each other and all that stuff, and he happened to go about his way, you can put two and two together and kind of, I wonder if this was the problem. You know what I'm saying? So, but some females still want that closure.
Yeah, I'm gonna fight for that closure. I find that in getting closure, you can heal. Right. If you don't have closure, the span of healing becomes longer. So, put it out there, but I was engaged at one point, and for 7.5 years, and I couldn't get him to marry me. Meanwhile, he's the one that proposed 3 months in. Didn't make any sense to me. So, we're together. His family liked me. Eventually, he doesn't love me anymore. He disappeared. No visits, no text messages, no phone calls, no sex, no kisses, no hand holding, no nothing. Everything became at an abrupt halt. It wasn't like it trickled. It was like, I'm going to take everything from her. So then I went up with him. He never said anything. He didn't say he agreed. He didn't say all the promises that he made about, oh, I'm going to fight for you and I'm going to do this, and instantly fell away. And that's when I found out that he was talking to somebody else.
Oh, somebody else was in the picture.
Somebody else was in the picture. 3 months after we broke up, she was pregnant. 9 months after that, they got married.
Oh, okay.
So that closure, it wouldn't have taken me about 7-8 years to heal. And I didn't know what healing was, because the first boyfriend gave me that closure, but he was like, you know what? I can't be with you because you're going so far away to school. Closure. Done situation. We can agree to be friends. We can agree to be anything else. But there was closure. Ex-fiance, there was no closure. I was always, closure is a matter of fact, questioning. That's what it is. It's questioning, what did you do wrong?
Right. Or where did it
go wrong? You know, and not really sad to say, but in retrospect, men don't think about that. Does that make sense? Men don't think about closure. They just think about, okay, it's over. What I found out was men don't have a backup. Meaning, women can up and have a dude like that. Does that make sense?
Right.
They'll have a dude really quick. Guys will actually take the time to heal. And I thought that was so weird when I heard that. But it made sense. If they were cheating, that's a different story. But if they weren't cheating, they will honestly take the time out and heal from whatever mess they're going through. Women, different. We're different. And, I think we become obsessed with the phrase, in order to get over somebody, you're supposed to get under somebody. So I think that's just become a phrase that people have adjusted to. And there's a lot of issues that people don't address. That's what it is. Closure is a part of an issue.
Right.
If you don't grant somebody closure, there's an issue by way of, what did I do wrong? Right. Am I not enough? That's what it is.
Right.
Am I not enough? That's what closure, if you don't have closure, that's what it leads to. Am I not enough? What didn't I do?
Right.
What didn't I say? Did I not satisfy him in any aspect? That's why we need.
Gotcha. Okay. Understood. One question for you.
Sure.
I know not to all women, but to a lot of them. Why is it so important that it seems like a woman got to win an argument? I always wondered that, like, why? Why is it so important for the women that like to argue? You may have a friend, you may have a co-worker, you may have a family member that like to argue. So that's why I'm asking, not saying that you would do it, but I'm just saying maybe you can help me out with that. Like, why is it so important for a woman to win an argument? whether she's right or wrong, she got to win that argument, and all that. Like, why is it important?
I'm gonna try my best to answer this.
Okay.
I'm gonna try my best because personally, me, if I'm right, I'm gonna fight for the fact that I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna openly say, okay, I'm wrong. Sorry, that was my fault. Not my bad, my fault. I'm gonna use that corny shit where it's like half of an apology.
Right.
So supposedly it's like in a negative way, meaning I can pick on you, I can tease you, I can talk shit to you, I talk shit about you, and still come out on top.
Right.
That being said, do the same thing.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie, they do the same thing.
I'm pretty sure they do.
When they can just give one insult and it will tear us apart, just eat alive. Women like to win arguments because they like to be right. Okay, not
like to be right. Those who like
to be right. Maybe they don't like to argue, but they just like to be right. Because it doesn't have to necessarily end up in an argument.
It doesn't. But for those that do end up arguing.
Okay, so we're done.
That's what I'm talking about. The ones that do like to argue. Like, you got on top and be, I guess that's what you say. They got to be right. So I guess that's why they like to win an argument, because they got to be right, even if they're wrong.
It's a matter of being on top.
Okay.
I can rank, but I can prove myself of my and who I am if I can win this argument. Like a lawyer.
Gotcha. Like, there you go.
A lawyer.
That's a good example.
If I can win this argument, I'll be the best lawyer ever.
Right.
So if I can win this argument from a woman's perspective, if I can win this argument, I'll be on top.
Okay, gotcha.
Be on top, I'll be the winner, I'll be the champ.
Okay.
I'll shut them down.
Okay.
That's what it's actually out. The truth. We're talking about the truth, right? So if a woman needs to be right in an argument, is it in general or just towards men?
What you mean? As far as what?
Arguments.
Oh, I mean, well, it'd be all across the board.
Okay. Women, guys. But women need passion that comes with an argument because they can't get the passion any other way.
Right.
So let me fight you until you can't take anymore.
Right.
And you fight me till I can't take anymore.
Right.
And then there's that passion that we're missing. Leads to makeup sex.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I never did get into makeup sex myself. Because I'm the type of person, if we arguing and stuff, like, I can't turn down, like, what the
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta wait till I calm down. Like, I'm mad now,
Exactly,
I'm mad.
Yeah.
To each his own. Okay, that's good.
I'm getting a drink.
Yeah, so. No, you got Oh, I guess it don't matter. You forgot your guts right there?
No. I'm using this to scoop ice.
Ice, okay.
I didn't put my hands in there.
Oh, okay.
Be on top. Okay. Sorry, ladies, but you like to be on top.
So we're keeping it 100.
And it's not fair. If you're gonna fight, make sure it's equal.
Thank you.
Make sure it's equal. Because if you look at sports, right, the boxing people make sure it's equal.
Right.
They have the same skills. They have the same weight. They have the same goal.
Right.
If you turn around and you put somebody that's 210 and built with somebody who's 190 and not built, that's not a fair fight.
Yeah.
They need to be the same weight. They may not be the same build because everybody carries it differently, but at least the same weight.
Right.
And he might be a southpaw and you might be the other one, but you
just
have different skills. Just make it
fair.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I can say about this world that we both can agree on. This world is not fair at all.
Nope.
Oh my God.
Not fair. And people don't care.
Yeah.
People don't care because they can make it not fair.
Yeah.
They think we're gonna lose anyway. Why not continue losing?
What are we thinking, right?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Time, baby. All the time.
Okay. We're in the building with that Amsterdam and that cranberry, making the bobos, making it happen, speaking our mind and keeping it a buck, because we don't get no fuck. If we ain't gonna keep it a bill, then we ain't gonna keep it real.
That's right, baby boy.
Yeah, you already in business. Yeah.
What else you got for me?
Okay. So, I show you this type of female because I know everybody is different. Excuse me. Are you the type of female that, like, first of all, do you have any, when I say girlfriends, friends that are females? I'm not talking about no lesbian type stuff. Do you have female friends?
No.
Okay, so you have female friends. So I will ask you this then. How do you feel? Do you think it makes sense for a woman to have a bestie, for her to tell her all her business? First of all, do you think that's a smart choice? Even though they've been for a long time, do you think that will be a smart and safe thing for her to do, to tell her bestie all of her business? And why not?
Don't get me wrong. I have besties.
So you do. Oh, are they male or female?
They're female. They're female.
Oh, so you do have female friends.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
One girl I've known since high school.
Okay.
I met her. We've been friends all the time.
Right.
We don't talk all the time. However, when we do talk, it's like it doesn't miss a beat.
Okay.
We can pick up where we left off. I say that to say it's not a good idea to tell your business. I mean, besties can tell your business. It's just not a good idea. You need to rethink that.
And why, I should say, why is it not a good idea?
Bad advice. They can give you bad advice. And then you use that advice. I'm sorry. You use that advice and you apply it to whatever you're going through and it doesn't work out because that's considered their opinion.
Right.
It's not yours.
Okay.
Oh, he cheated on me. What should I do now? Oh, you should leave him. It's kind of vague, don't you think? Why would I necessarily leave him?
Right.
Oh, because he cheated. Don't you work it out? Because not that people can change, but in that type of situation, there's a reason to everything. Not even that type of
Thank
situation.
you. Thank you. Say that one more time.
There's a reason to everything.
Thank you. And the reason why I'm thanking you for that is because everybody that I say that to don't seem to understand that. Because I had a talk with a couple people, and I'd be like, why did you say that? Why did you do that? I don't know. I just did it. No, that doesn't make sense. There's a reason why you done it. Why gotta be a reason? Because it's a reason to everything. No, it don't. It don't have to be a reason for everything. I'm like, how silly do you sound?
What are you reacting to?
Yeah, so you doing shit. That doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I thank you for that. And it's always a female that I'm talking about that says that. Like, so I had you say that again. And I really appreciate that because I try to get them to understand. Everything happens for a reason. Even the things that we do for a reason. I just gave a prime example to somebody the other day. That's just like somebody bank. If somebody finna rob a bank, they ain't gonna say, "Oh, I'm finna rob the bank because I just feel like doing it." No, it's a reason. They probably broke. They probably need money. You know what I'm saying? That's why. Not because they just feel like doing it today. You know what I'm saying? That it just doesn't make sense. So Thank you very much for that. I'm so sorry, but thank you very much for that because that's some real shit right there. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
You ain't gotta apologize. Keeping it real, speak your mind.
There you go. Exactly. We're gonna keep it a buck up in this motherfucker. So, going back to what we were just talking about, discussing about telling your bestie your business. You said that's not a good idea because you can get bad advice. I agree with you. Because I believe that if you run to your bestie, not you per se, but those who do it, you run to your bestie and tell her your business, she may not care for your man. You know what I'm saying? Only that, your relationship be a little better than hers. Misery loves company. Okay? That right. Not only that, how you think a friend would feel or a woman would feel if she's telling her bestie all her business and she tell her to leave her man, she end up listening to her bestie, leave her man, and then she find out later down the line her bestie is with her man. Now, how would that make you feel? Now, this is your bestie now. You know what I'm saying? This is your bestie that you told all your business to, and the whole time she was plotting on you. And the reason why she told you to leave your man because she wanted him. Now, the way, and you can't really trust nobody in this world because you got shiesty people like that. But I'm just saying, if that situation did happen, in my eyes, I can understand her being mad at her bestie, you know. But you gotta be mad at yourself because you shouldn't have been telling your business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, your best friend, because best friends don't do that. But your so-called best friend played you to the left. You know, she into leaving your man so she can be with him. Now I know you feel stupid. You know what I'm saying? I know you feel stupid because you got played by your so-called friend. Now, what'll make you even more pissed off and feel stupid is like, say like you have these ignorant ass females out here, they got played like that by their bestie. Now they want to fight her. But I bet you she will get so salty on the inside when her ex-man that she broke up with is with her bestie and be like, jump right in the middle like, no, you're not gonna hit my woman. Ooh, that cut like a knife.
You're
You know, like, oh, so now you gonna be with her. I don't know how that outcome will be, but on the inside, I could just only imagine how she would fucking feel like I've been played. This bitch played me the whole time, and then this motherfucking nigga gonna protect her and say you not finna put your hands on my woman. Oh, that makes a motherfucker want to kill a motherfucker. I'll kill both of you motherfuckers. I could just only imagine how